Hi guys, this is Conversation Corner. On my channel, I talk about how words can influence your thoughts and change your worldview. Today, we are going over the concept of attention. I'm sure you've heard it being said that attention is the new currency in the 21st century. To understand this well, we need to understand what exactly attention is and what inattention is. And I believe the illustration I have with me over here will help you understand exactly what attention is, what inattention is, and what we can do to combat our lack of attention. Forgive me for that. So, you must have heard a lot of words relating to focus and concentration. However, focus and concentration don't have any role to play when it comes to paying attention. And if you watch this video closely, you'll understand why. First, we need to get some terms really clear with us. The first term that I would like to talk about is observing. So you can see this line. There's a straight line which says observing. I've also called this listening or seeing. The other line is called thinking, and the other name for thinking is called analyzing. Let's break the difference between the two. When you observe, basically you're paying attention to something which is called the object of your attention, and at that point in time you're not making any judgments, there's no thought in your mind, and you're simply paying attention to what is taking place. Let's say you see a lion chasing a deer. Looking at the lion chasing the deer is observation. It's called seeing. Now, if you switch from looking at the lion chasing the deer to thinking, is the deer going to survive? What is going to happen to the deer? Will the lion be able to catch the deer? When you are thinking all these thoughts at the moment of watching the chase, then you are not observing. Then you are either thinking or you're analyzing. And that is exactly the point in time where you are inattentive. You're not attending to what is happening. So we have two distinctions here, one is observation and one is thought. And both of these don't take place simultaneously. For thought to take place, you need to break your observation a little, okay? And if you don't want to think, then you need to come back to observing what is happening. The reason we are quite inattentive is that we make judgments at the moment of observation. Uh, be assured here, I'm not talking about distractions. I'm talking about being able to pay quality attention, because our head is so filled with thoughts that anytime we look at something, we're not purely looking at it. We're using our past memories and experiences to pass judgments on exactly what is happening or to analyze what is happening. And the moment we start analyzing what is happening, we're not seeing something new. We're seeing something that belongs to the past, although we're seeing it in the present moment. And I will give you some examples that will help make this point very clear. I had drawn in my diagram the difference between observing and thinking, right? Now, when you observe, you're in attention to what is happening. The moment you start thinking or analyzing is when you've become distracted. And then when you stop thinking and analyzing and you pay attention, again you're observing. So you're in full attention. Let me give an example. Let's say you go to an area which is quite poor, and there people don't have cars. Maybe they have bicycles or they have scooters. Suddenly you see a Rolls Royce coming in. Now you think to yourself, what is a Rolls Royce doing in such an impoverished area? Okay, now you've gone away from the realm of observation and attention, you've become distracted and you've started thinking. That's when you've become inattentive. You're thinking, why has he come here? Won't it be dangerous to come here in such an area? You can have a multitude of thoughts. It doesn't matter what thought you have. You're still distracted because you're not observing what is taking place. Okay? Now, if you stop thinking about that and actually pay attention to that car in that area, that's when you've gained your attention again and you're observing what is taking place. Normally, when anyone says that you're a very good listener, what they generally imply is you don't put your own thoughts and judgments into the conversation that is taking place. Let's say someone's talking about their trip to Germany. They're talking to you about how exciting it was to go to Germany, and you stopped them in the middle of the conversation and you agreed with them and said, yes, Germany is quite amazing. I went to the Brandenburg tour, I went to the Brandenburg Gate, and I had a great time. What exactly happened? You got distracted. Instead of listening to that person talking about how amazing it was going to Germany, you got distracted by your thoughts of when you went to Germany. You interjected your interlocutor, you put your own thoughts across, and you disrupted his line of thought or his narrative. And that is what made you a bad listener because you were thinking instead of listening. In this case, observing becomes listening. So, the reason you are distracted is whenever you're looking at something, whenever you're observing something, you're not seeing it as it is. You're having memories of the past and using that to pass value judgments on what you're paying attention to. Is this boring? Is this interesting? Do I agree with this? Do I disagree with this? Is it useful? Is it useless? There are a lot of thoughts that are going through your head at any point in time when you're paying attention to something new. And this is what is holding you back currently from becoming a good listener. Becoming a good listener would involve you putting your judgments aside and paying attention to what is happening without your own thoughts interjecting in that process. So, if you want to become a good listener, make sure you have the ability to listen or observe without your own thoughts interfering. In case they do, pull them back to what is happening, and that's how you gain your attention again. I hope this helps, and don't confuse this with trying to focus on something by forcefully bringing your thoughts to what is taking place, because then again, there is a bit of resistance between what your thoughts are and what is actually taking place. So, when you are pulling focus to something, you're still inattentive because your thoughts are thinking one thing, you're observing one thing, and you're trying to balance the two simultaneously. Attention will not require you to focus because you don't pass value judgments in attention. It's quite frankly one of the easiest things to do. So, next time someone's listening, or next time you're listening to someone, understand that the easiest thing to do is to pay attention. Being a good listener, in fact, is an effortless process because it is being a bad listener that involves a lot of thinking, a lot of judgment on what is being said. Being a good listener is, in fact, one of the easiest things to do.